Welcome, RVA, to Inspire AI, where we spotlight companies and individuals in the region who are pioneering the development and use of artificial intelligence. I'm Jason McGinty from AI Ready RVA. At AI Ready RVA, our mission is to cultivate AI literacy in the greater Richmond region through awareness, community engagement, education, and advocacy. Today's episode is made possible by Modern Ancients, driving innovation with purpose. Modern Ancients uses AI and strategic insight to help businesses create lasting positive change with their unique journey consulting practice. Find out more about how your business can grow at modernancients.com. And thanks to our listeners for tuning in today. If you or your company would like to be featured in an Inspire AI Richmond episode, please drop us a message. Don't forget to like, share, or follow our content and stay up to date on the latest events for AI Ready RVA.
Welcome to another episode of Inspire AI, where we dive into the minds of trailblazers shaping the future of business and technology. Today, I'm thrilled to introduce a guest whose impact in the world of IT leadership and business transformation is nothing short of extraordinary. Baron Wright is a visionary technology executive known for optimizing customer satisfaction and engagement by designing innovative solutions that align perfectly with business objectives. With a track record of forging strong partnerships with industry leaders, Baron plays a crucial role in bridging the gap between technology and business strategy, helping organizations achieve their boldest ambitions. Baron's expertise spans security, cloud, and SaaS solutions, enterprise strategic planning, IT infrastructure, and business transformation, making him a sought-after leader in the technology space. But beyond his technical acumen, what truly sets him apart is his ability to build lasting relationships, mentor high-performing teams, and drive innovation that fuels business success. Today, we'll explore Baron's journey, his insights on the evolving IT landscape, and how technology leaders can drive meaningful transformation in their organizations. Please join me in welcoming Baron to Inspire AI.
Jason, thank you so much. Hello, everybody. Wow, I'm hearing those words. I'm like, who's this guy? So appreciate the warm thoughts there. Yes, thank you very much. Great.
It is a little surreal being on a podcast, right? Well, thank you for joining us today, Baron. Can you start out by telling us a little bit about yourself, your business, your interest in AI?
Yeah. Well, I'm a technology entrepreneur. That's for sure. I didn't even know it at certain points in my career. Had the privilege of going to work in a systems integration, kind of a managed IT firm back in the 90s before they call it managed IT. So I've been a technology entrepreneur most of my career. I am a husband and father of three. I enjoy off-road motorcycle riding, which I actually got to ride my dirt bike yesterday, Sunday. And really is my escape and a great hobby. Yeah, but my interest in AI, really from thus far, it's been personal productivity. And I'm intrigued, really intrigued at its impact in the software development landscape and how it's changing software. I think, so much of what people are talking about is lots of productivity and the personal productivity. I know it has been for me, but I really joining most world leaders and business leaders in knowing that what we're experiencing now is truly like, the revolution of the internet, back in the 90s. So it's a great time to be in technology. I definitely am optimistic for sure. And, in terms of really AI for me actually helped me making a big business decision last year around my technology entrepreneurship, like where I was headed. I had a big fork in the road decision last year. AI was a great personal aid. I had a really great network of people that actually were helping me with an important decision. And then in a lot of ways, AI, ChatGPT in particular was kind of a friend and a confidant on the side that you could validate ideas and shape ideas. And it really became, honestly, enough of an impact where there was like another person in my life. And it was also, in some cases, in most of the case, actually the great advice that I got from my network of colleagues was validation too. So it's really exciting to be in a place of technology entrepreneurship and having this tool available. It's mind-boggling, but really exciting.
Yeah, it definitely elevates the human capabilities. And I like your statement of you're an optimist about this technology. Gives me a sense that, you see it as being a tool to unlock human potential more than, replace it, which is a great thing. Um, it's very powerful. It supports our productivity in everyday life these days, and um, I think it's a great connection you made for yourself. It is another thing that you can fall back on and leverage as a key partner in your life,
Yeah,
which I think that's like step one for sure, is turning it into the most productive personal assistant.
yeah,
Yeah.
for
So
sure.
being able to leverage its key skills to do that is a major undertaking. It teaches you a lot about the AI technology, and it allows you to expand your thinking beyond that. So that's great that you're there.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what inspired you to start UMIT Technologies? What gap in the market are you addressing?
Well, so UMIT Technologies is actually a byproduct of the company that I founded, which was Vector Pro. Vector Pro was my second entrepreneurial venture. Um, so Vector Pro was acquired by the Upper Mattaponi Indian Tribe. So UMIT is an acronym for the Upper Mattaponi Indian Tribe, which the Upper Mattaponi Tribe is a very much an entrepreneurial driven, tribally owned, a tribal nation, right? So the Upper Mattaponi Indian Tribe received its the sovereign nation status in 2019. And subsequent to that has been growing various enterprises within the tribe. The tribe started a healthcare system, which has been producing not only well-needed medical services for tribal citizens as well as the community in King William, but also is a revenue stream for the tribe to do other entrepreneurial things. So from my perspective, I was happily running my managed IT firm. I have been in the IT consulting space most of my career. As I mentioned earlier, I was a business owner with we were a total of 5 partners. For about 18 years, we were together. We were doing managed IT services as well as systems integration. Cisco networking and Cisco voice over IP was a big initiative back in the 2000s when voice over IP was becoming a real thing and sort of changed the landscape of how businesses used and implemented phone systems. So my journey took me to a place where I needed to start another business. And I was out there looking, I'll never forget it too, because I shaped my LinkedIn profile and dusted off had a resume created, spent good money actually to have a professional help me write that. And because I had been a business owner, right? And you don't really do your own resumes when you're in that position. And it didn't feel right. I was out looking for a job and honestly, it just didn't sit right with me. I'm like, my true calling really did come out. Like I really, really liked uh, the notion of a lot of people say, I want to go into business for myself so I can be my own boss. You always have a boss. I mean, your customers are your boss, right? But it is something there's a unique drive that the entrepreneurial spirit. So Vector Pro was my second version. I was a sole proprietor, just me, kind of on a slow growth. The space that we fit was small to medium businesses, um, giving them providing an IT leadership. Keep the lights on IT is a lot of what I like to call it. but also coupling that with, what are some decisions that I should be making in my business? Cybersecurity is a big thing. Outside of AI, one of the number one things that businesses are concerned about these days is cybersecurity.
Hmm.
And most people don't do it right. I mean, you can be spending millions of dollars on cybersecurity and there's still risk, right? You can't make the risk go away. But the need that we were fulfilling at Vector Pro was well-run IT with an enterprise mentality, cybersecurity tools kind of built in, and then fractional leadership that kind of went all into a package. So, about 8 or 10 clients that I had and I had 2 other employees in the business. And then the tribe approached me, the Upper Mattaponi tribe approached me to acquire the business, but wanted me as a part of it, right? The business wasn't big enough to just, set into the sunset. So UMIT Technologies was really that formation of an entrepreneurial tribal nation wanting to do more lines of business, and so we're capturing that spirit of entrepreneurial drive, growth, and now I have a business partner that's funding growth in a really exciting time. Cybersecurity and AI is pretty much what we talk about.
Yeah.
Today, honestly. So, and then, the interesting thing about AI now is, well, I sort of put data in that same thing, right? That's really ultimately what cybersecurity is protecting.
Hmm.
Sometimes we think of it just as malware and viruses and things like that. They're the classic defense. But cybersecurity is also encapsulating data, and AI has a really strong, it's sort of a vacuum effect. Like, where is my data going? So that data governance in AI is a huge issue in IT infrastructure
Hmm.
concepts, which, sort of the day-to-day, keep the lights on IT, I like to call it, about how do I protect the data? I
Yeah.
want to use ChatGPT. I want to use Microsoft Copilot. Is
Yeah.
my data safe?
Right.
Most frequent question that customers are asking me now, is my data safe if I use this tool?
Hmm.
So, yeah.
I would love to be a fly on the wall when you answer that. It's a great cross section, cybersecurity and AI, and such a compelling backstory of how that happened. I guess it's a quite a reminder that there are, unexpected relationships can lead to meaningful transformations.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, for sure. The
It does remind me. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm going to tag on one little remark there, because actually the backstory of the relationship there was one of my more difficult clients over the years in my career as an IT entrepreneur and a business owner, and really a day-to-day technical practitioner, right? I was a deliverer of technical services to my clients. Um, this person often, I would leave their office often bewildered, kind of wondering, where do I stand with this person? Just one of those kind of tough cookies that, hard but fair ultimately, but one of those managers, leaders that was always had you kind of guessing, a little bit on your heels kind of a thing. And honestly, I never knew where I stood. I would leave his office sometimes frustrated, sometimes honestly demoralized, like, wow, make a mistake. He was pretty hard on you when you made mistakes and things like that. But we were together 10 or plus years. This person who I sort of want, where do I stand with them, actually was the person who recommended me to the tribe. He's a Native American Upper Mattaponi citizen, and went out on a limb to refer me. So it is one of those things that sometimes even the most challenging people, difficult people, people who are hard on you, not to sound negative, but like those folks who cause you to think and maybe add some stress in your life. I could have easily just written him off. And there was a part in me that actually kind of was questioning, like, wow, like, you know, I, I mean, it was truly amazing to have that type of referral. It's literally changed the trajectory of my life, come from a person. The ultimately now the question that I can answer is that all those years he did have a lot of respect for me. I just never quite knew it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Some
So
people have trouble expressing their feelings
yeah,
in, empathetic ways.
yeah, Yeah, that
And
would,
he's probably a business owner, maybe,
yeah,
definitely a leader of the company, and took it very
correct.
seriously.
Yep. Yeah.
So, business is
But like,
business to certain people.
yeah. And then, but to literally have that. So, man, I'm telling you, that is a major life lesson to never burn a bridge. Even if you disagree with somebody, right? Even if you part ways, like, don't burn the bridge, man, because you just have no idea. I went through transformation in my life. He went through we were completely out in the universe on totally different paths, and then the world brought us together just by a phone call. I crossed a common person in our network. I was actually doing a sales call, and that commonality brought me back to a phone call, which started that. So don't ever burn those bridges, man. You just don't know what the future could unfold, and it's an amazing place that we're in today. So yeah,
100%. Yeah, you need your network
absolutely,
to grow your career. You cannot do it alone around here.
absolutely.
So, all right, that's really a great add-on. Thank you for sharing. Um, can you tell us a little bit about how your leadership approach evolved with the rapid advancement of technology, and lately, considering the evolution of AI, how has it evolved?
Yeah, I wouldn't say my leadership has changed because I really am. My leadership style changed on its own. We were talking earlier about just professional development books. I really am. I wasn't always this leader because I have been a natural leader, but oftentimes I wanted to be, it was unintentional talents coming out and personality, but I was proud to be, the guy talking the most in the meeting, or maybe, having the best ideas, or being the center point of the guy who had the subject matter knowledge, and so on and so forth. And, that's one way that's leadership. That's not leading a team. That's leading, an initiative or a project or a sale. And so my leadership, honestly, like I have my leadership has evolved to, I am not the most important person on the team. I have to lift others up, right? And that's a that's a personal development that has just come with age and wisdom and hard knocks. I wished I had it earlier. um, so I would say my my career and these experiences, and getting running into some brick walls too, having hard times, losing a job and being faced with a really, really, um, do I want to go get a job, or am I going to start this other business, kind of a thing. Those things really shake you up and has changed it. What so lifting others up, being an encouraging leader, is really what I do now. And also now, though, we have this backdrop of AI and these game-changing technologies. So the encouraging part and lifting people up part, I think now you just we're I'm weaving that into the day-to-day conversations of, back to AI being a tool for personal development, and a tool for efficiency, personal productivity. That's kind of how I weave it in, like making sure that people are using it to improve their lives in any way they can. But simultaneously, um, how is your personal life, or how are your hobbies? Talking with employees about their career aspirations. They're in a position where they don't love. If you don't love at least 70% of your job, you're probably in the wrong position. There's always 30% of crapola that goes with a job. So
Soul sucking work, I like to say.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I do feel like that's kind of where I am. I don't think AI has quite, but we don't know right now. Like there's something else coming quickly, of what AI. I mean, kind of. We're a Microsoft. We do a lot of Microsoft partner work, cloud service provider. So Microsoft's pushing, Copilot. It's interesting how that mix is in the world, alongside ChatGPT, which is, encouraging the use of and spending money on those licenses, right? I mean, Microsoft, the Copilot license is more expensive than your day-to-day Microsoft productivity, your Microsoft 365 license. It's actually more expensive. So being willing to invest in, a technology tool that's there to make, the people better, more productive, right? So,
Yeah,
I
it's
think,
definitely a force multiplier.
yeah, yeah,
And you know, everything that you're saying there totally resonates with me. I even feel like our backgrounds are similar. Prior to changing my worldview through enterprise lens, I was working for a small medium business consulting firm in Dallas, and it's closed down since it was called Tech Metrics, and we were largely a Microsoft shop, and we uh, had our challenges with our customers, and we each, had to figure out our leadership styles in this organization. At the time, I was the guy that was a senior consultant, and had the very very much like I should be the center of attention. I should be the one speaking here.
yeah,
And fast forward 15 years and you've got the idea of servant leadership as a primary goal
yes,
in everything that I do. When I support someone or something, it's, what am I here for? It's not me as the center of attention, but it's, what can I do to add value to this situation or this person's life? And
yeah,
so, yeah, what you said really resonates with me, and I really appreciate
yeah.
being able to reconnect with those feelings.
It has to be genuine too, though. It can't
Yeah.
just be the proverbial cat poster, the mission
Yeah.
statement. I love that. Do you remember that cat poster where he's like hanging on and like those proverbial mission statement? It has to be, you definitely have to believe it.
You do
Like
have to believe it.
it's even with a partner, a spouse, a friend, everybody knows when you don't believe it, right? I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, you just, that speaks into the power of change and personal development. We can change ourselves. So yeah, that's been a huge bit for me. Thanks for sharing that too. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. I love authentic leaders.
Yeah,
That's important. And you get the sense after you've been around several flavors of leadership for long enough,
yeah,
recognize when they're faking it, if you will.
yeah,
All right. So tell me a little bit more about UMIT Technologies integration with business strategy, and how does it drive innovation and efficiency?
yeah. Well, as I said, our kind of our go-to-market strategy is managed IT, right? So I like to call that the keep the lights on IT, right? Everybody needs a computer on their desk, Mac or Windows. It's got to be managed, patched, cyber secure, blah, blah, blah. So there's that general sort of keep the lights on IT. We do that well, actually. And what's amazing is when you do that well, nobody's really talking about all the fussiness down there. It gives you time truly to elevate your conversations. So part of our service delivery is also kind of a fractional leadership. We don't exactly call it, well, I guess it kind of says in our marketing materials, a fractional leader. So, and we don't charge for those hours. At some point, if it turns into a big project or something like that, we have provisions. But hey, if I can have a seat at the table, like myself, our other senior members of the staff, if we can get a seat at the table of a management meeting where you're not fussing about open tickets and broken computers and all those things that are just kind of boring IT stuff, that's where the really cool business problems come up. In fact, that meeting I mentioned to you earlier, an organic meeting evolved around the CEO of this client of one of our clients is just a really great thinker, and he's very simple in his approach. He was just asking lots of what ifs, and he had several members of the technology team, myself being one of the having kind of that proverbial seat at the table. And so what's really cool about having like a foundational role in doing that well, and then being willing to extend ourselves into these leadership conversations, that's where we're seeing the wheels start to spin. And business owners are asking a lot of questions, honestly, that I don't think aren't prevalent answers right now. Here's an example. A lot of businesses now run on software as a service systems, right? They're industry specialized. We all know QuickBooks and things like that that are unique across, I'm sorry, you know, they're across a lot of industries. But then there's very industry specific software platforms. Um, this particular client that I'm talking about is in the medical transportation and uses a software system that does computer aided dispatch, or CAD. And so the CAD puts the trucks on the road to go pick up the patients, and it schedules employees, so on and so forth. But they're a captive. That software as a service system has all the data. It's the ERP for a medical transportation company. So fortunately, it's a good software system, right? It works. But unfortunately, it's a closed system. It is an ecosystem, its own ecosystem. And so how do you get information in and out of that? You hear this phrase of API integration, right? Software systems being integrated with one another, but that's hard. It's clumsy a lot of times. So the conversation was, well, I would like to have AI helping me answer my telephones. Can it do a lookup and give a customer a ride? So you're starting to see what the Microsoft CEO has been, speaking about of the AI layer, right? These AI bots that are, and this is now becoming common conversation amongst business leaders. They're hearing the podcast, and now they're asking these legitimate business questions to their tech teams, and we don't have good answers because it's captive in this software as a service, kind of a closed system, right? The data is in the application. How do I bridge, how do I shim an AI layer in between them? So that's what I'm seeing a lot of, like exciting ideas, innovative leaders are coming up with these ideas. And then actually, unless you own your own software, which most businesses don't, right? Most people have gone out to the software as a service. If you happen to be with a software as a service provider who's innovating with AI, well, then great. I mean, but if you're with one that doesn't have an AI layer, you're kind of stuck with them because they also have a closed system. So what I'm seeing now, what's causing my wheels to spin is like, oh wow, how do I mean, for us as an infrastructure company, we've put ourselves in the position where we have a seat at the table. Are these areas where I should be looking at for UMIT Technologies as innovative opportunities, right? Do you even call it software development, right? That's a whole, because can't the AI write its own software development? I'd love to open up that kind of conversation because that to me is one of the most intriguing. But it's exciting, and then all of a sudden it can also quickly turn kind of frustrating because I don't know about you, but when you see all these software systems, I was talking to a friend a couple months ago, and he was a business owner. Uh, he manages apartments or multi-level housing, and so property management company. Sorry, I was having a hard time getting that out. And he's like, he was counting on his hand, and he went to two hands of all the software systems in his ecosystem. None of them talk to each other, and so I really think this AI layer, whether it's integrating software or is it replacing software like that, the software as a service that we have of what we know today. Because at this point now, I've been in enough conversations to see that it's a barrier. Like we know the AI, we know it's there. Business owners now are, and this particular guy that I'm talking about is willing to spend money, right? Because he also knows that it's cost deferred. Now, in some cases, this is the dangerous side of AI. It is job replacement, right? There is automation that can replace humans. But as a business owner, he's got to be looking at that too, right? If his costs are, how can he optimize that business? So that's what I'm seeing a lot now. Some of them unanswerable questions.
That's wild. So you have a customer, they have some off-the-shelf solution, software as a service.
Yep.
It does not integrate with other systems well. the API integrations that they have like documented are outdated, kludgy, and to tie those API requests into some AI platform in order to make use of the data, which
Yeah,
is rightfully theirs, but
exactly.
contractually not,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Um, yeah, so so many things come to mind here. At this point, I would be looking for cloud-based technologies to replace whatever is got them stuck in
Yep.
that world, and look at maybe like an Amazon Web Service package that does what they want it to do for their ERP. I'm not terribly familiar with ERPs, but I did definitely work with an ERP back when I was in the Microsoft server infrastructure world as well, in that consulting role I referred to. And it's not a friendly system. So I would say, yeah, like we could go on and on, but if you could find a solution that's cloud-based and one in which that does integrate with other technologies very easily, and this is forward thinking with the AI tech, then you might have a much easier set of circumstances to deal with a roadmap such as that.
What's
But
interesting is,
it does take work to go
yeah,
from a data center co-located version of what they do as a primary resource of revenue to a cloud-based technology.
yeah. What's interesting is I have a close relate. We helped this particular client on board into this system, and so it was a pretty long journey, probably a 6 month, journey, leaving another software as a service system, going to this one. This is it is a better piece of software. There's no doubt. There lots of value has come from it, but it's that that
Yeah.
landlocked
Yeah.
element, and they do offer some APIs. They just take a long time. Read only copy of the data, so you can get to the data, so on and so forth. So there's something there. So I was actually having a talk with this guy, right? This is the software as a service, system that my client depends on. And we got through some of the brass tacks of a couple incidents and what's the status on this, that, and the other. And I was asking him, hey, what's your all strategy with AI? Immediately, you could tell it was a Zoom call. Immediately, the countenance changed. Oh, no, no, no. AI, this industry, it'll never happen to this industry for 10 years. So here you had a company leader of a software company whom my client depends on, right? And immediately it was, oh, no, 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 no. We're different. This industry is not going to be impacted by AI. It'll never, like literally the word, like it'll never be there kind of a thing. Like it'll never happen. And I go to say now I'm never shocked, but I was kind of taken back. Like, really? Do you really think that this industry is impervious from these forces that are at work? Um, which, I mean, that's one way to do it, right? Put your head in the sand like an ostrich and just ignore all these forces and hope it doesn't impact your software. But here I am representing a client that's like trying to innovate, like, and all roads led to this software. So it's like, dude, like, um, yeah, it was a closed-minded perspective, which I was kind of shocked, actually, a little bit, but I do, not much shocks you these days, but I was surprised.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would politely rebut that as well and say, I get it. No, you haven't been exposed to those the risks in that thinking yet, but it is a naturally disrupting technology and it is
Yeah.
going to impact all industries. It's only a matter of time. And so, as innovators, we need to be thinking about the future before the future gets us, like
Yes.
and pulls us out of the sand. I love the ostrich analogy. I always say that to people, when not to people, but about people that choose to look the other way and
Right.
don't accept the reality in which, hate to say it, but is a well-framed one at this point. And if you're not paying attention, then you've got to start sometime.
Yep.
And whether it's a friend that wakes you up to it or a bad business decision that wakes you up to it, it will happen. So
Yep.
anyway, so tell me a little bit of an anecdote here. If you were to share some of your insights about some of the more exciting AI advancements you're looking out for and watching and seeing, how do you see them influencing business in the next 5 years?
Well, this notion of no code or low code or an AI layer, the Microsoft CEO has been talking about like essentially an AI layer removing software as a service. We talked a lot about that, right? The closedness of a software as a service platform. How businesses, once you make a decision on one, you're captive to that. Well, what if businesses could write their own software in a cloud environment, right? Microsoft is going big in cloud, same with AWS. You don't need the software as a service, or you don't need a team of programmers to create the software that runs the business that makes a decision. That to me is absolutely profound. I mean, the investments Microsoft is a software company, and to hear the CEO speak is truly profound, knowing that this entire layer, if they don't get it right, and software changes as we know it, could wipe out, an entire company, like, a large software giant. So that's where we are, and it is truly profound. And when you hear business leaders saying they want to get more out of their software, and then that ostrich software development company, right, saying, no, we don't need to do that. It'll never happen. What do you think those business leaders are going to go towards the no code, low code? Let me just tell my AI interpreter, Chat GPT, let me just talk to it. I mean, who's to say you couldn't go home, riding in your car, and instead of listening to an audiobook, you're having a conversation with your AI interpreter, and it captures all these ideas. And honestly, this client that we've talked a lot about, he's an innovative thinker and goes into these places where he just has idea after idea after idea. And that's a very possible reality pretty soon.
Yeah.
There's tools out there. I have a good friend who's actually coming to UMIT Technologies. So we have our next hire is a really powerful business development leader, has experience in this space, and has he was in a position of marketing, business development, road mapping, and then the really smart software developers were, he was interfaced with funding, and these were large, multi-million-dollar investments, and started dabbling around with Replit, which is a no code, low code tool. And here you had a business dev guy, a biz dev guy. Actually, they had used the tool for a couple of months and were able to produce real solutions, and they are not software developers.
No.
That's game changing, man. That is game
Yes.
changing. That to me is, truly the democratization of software. If anybody can have any software that they want, that to me, that's mind blowing. Now, I'm sure it's terrifying for the software developers of the world, right? That is one of those things that change the landscape of jobs in technology. So, yeah,
Yeah, it certainly is a bit scary. I
yeah,
manage software development teams for my
yes,
company, and no one's shaking in their boots yet, but we're we're thinking about how to leverage these tools and
yes,
how to build efficiencies with them and get to the creative spaces of software engineering.
right.
It's interesting how we're having this conversation about no code, low code. There's another term for it called vibe coding.
Okay,
I just very recently published a podcast episode on vibe coding.
okay,
It's it gives a depiction of what it's like for software developers and what the decision matrix looks like for, will it replace them? Will it just enhance their abilities? And I won't give you any more details about it, but it's definitely worth a listen.
Nice.
Um, I do believe that, not to harp on this too much more, but I do believe that everybody's going to be capable of coding. You don't have to just be experimental and somebody in technology. At some point, it will become so democratized that you can just speak to your computer and publish some new web app.
Yep.
Uh, I've experimented with some of those things, and it will write up an entire back end for what it's worth
That's
to
amazing.
do anything you want it to. Some of the some of the programming languages have to be really well understood. You can't tell it to go and code in like Erlang or something like that because there's not a lot of data examples on it, but it'll
Right.
do Python and Node and JavaScript and
Right.
Java and Go very well. There's so many examples out there, and it's so fluent in those things that I absolutely see it replacing a large portion of the developer role in the future. Now you can type in or even speak to a computer program like Replit. There's a Claude one that I've recently used. There's the Copilot. There's plenty of examples
Yep.
that will just build this application for you. And it's not going to be perfect because it needs time to be refined, but it's definitely making a splash and it's only going to continue getting more and more capable. So,
I'm sure that's a passionate topic for you, right? Being in the space and
yeah, I look to the future. I will not stick my head in the sand. I say this stuff is coming.
yep.
And if I decide to not deal with it now, then I could easily be replaced by somebody who is willing to deal with it now.
Well, that's why you're here on AI Ready doing this, challenging the mainstream of or at least the non-innovative thought. So it's awesome that you're out here doing this and advocating for it.
Yeah, this organization is definitely an advocate for the future, and we want to embrace the opportunities and shepherd those that are willing to experiment, and then also help those that aren't yet willing to experiment to realize the potential. So, yeah, it's great. It's great to be here.
Yeah.
All right. So, thinking about a little bit more in terms of how AI is becoming more sophisticated, what would you suggest for businesses to ensure that the human element remains a core part of the innovation and decision making?
Yeah, that's an interesting topic because it is sort of that the fear that we are going to be replaced. But at the end of the day, we're still here, right? I mean, like if you think about it, there is a point of being a human and interacting with other humans. That's life. That's the life we know it. And it's joyous if you can embrace it and find happiness and find your calling and find your quest and all these things. So um, really the key here is we're at a transformative time. And so we don't, and especially if you've been around a little while on this planet, we know what we know, and how do you know what the future is holding? But you can feel it, the energy that's here. We're transforming together, and so I've even said this to my kids. There's a lot of, I mean, some of the job that you might do maybe hasn't even been invented yet.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's truly exciting about what's happening. It's nerve-wracking. It's because it doesn't exist and it's so much unknown, and there is disruption, no doubt, that's coming, and uh, job loss, but then job creation, right? Because industries, I mean, like look at what the frontier of where SpaceX is leading and Elon Musk at, an interplanetary species. If that's not a lofty goal, I don't know what is, right? So then, okay, so do we, are those lofty goals those are the things that are transforming and bringing new opportunities. So as old ways die out, right, as long as that transformation is continuing on, I heard it said in the HR space, if AIs are just talking to AIs and analyzing things, like what's the point? If the humans aren't a benefactor, we're here. I mean, so it is truly a resource for humanity. And I think that's the way we have to look at it, right?
Yeah.
So the Terminator and the self-sustained, the singularity event and all this science fiction elements, they're thought-provoking. But at the end of the day, we're here. And as far as I know, most people don't really want to go anywhere and they want better lives. So I kind of see it as a very practical. We are a species who knows how to survive. We've made it. We've completely mastered the planet, brought it to everything to it for modern conveniences, and now we've invented this technology. There is some level of pointlessness if we let this thing reach to the point where it's making decisions on behalf of itself, or arguing with it, like, again, hey, wait a minute, the humans are over here. We're going to have lives to live and do our thing. So I see it as, in a lot of ways, for the fear mongers out there that are wondering, is it going to take over? We're a really resilient species. I know I have a lot of grit, determination. This just got me to this point, and I'm living the best life that I have in a long time, just by personal development, perseverance, and grit. I'm just optimistic, man, that the innovators of the world, we're going to figure it out. We're going to mess it up. It's going to be messy. We always do, but we also, the best is yet to come, I think, in humanity. So maybe that's just the optimist in me, but that's just how I live my life, and it feels really good. So I'm sticking with it.
No, that's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think there could be a day in the distant future where certain jobs aren't needed, and
for sure.
there might be a time when we have universal basic income
For sure.
because there's just not a lot we have to do for
Right.
ourselves. I'm talking about really far distant, and but there'll always be people that want more in life
Exactly.
than to be given a paycheck and to sit at home watching Netflix all day.
Exactly.
And I don't think that human nature is ever going to leave us. I think
I
we're going
agree.
to always aspire to be humanity will always aspire to have do something more with its purpose. I use purpose intentionally there.
Yeah.
Everybody has to find their purpose, and like you said a few minutes ago, if you're not waking up every day and at least 70% happy with what you're doing, then you probably should be doing something else.
Yep.
That makes me think about aligning to my purpose. And do I spring out of bed every morning? Yeah, most days I do. I'm extremely excited to fulfill my purpose, and
Yeah. It's
my
awesome.
purpose is going to change a little bit as AI becomes more of a supporting tool in my life. I absolutely have seen the productivity that they claim it has, and made tons and tons of the work that amounts to that 30% that I'm not super satisfied for, just disappear.
That's awesome.
It,
That's a
I
great
can talk for
testimony.
a long time about what that looks like, but this is not my interview, right?
Yeah, that's a
Um,
great testimony.
but essentially it's only going to get better, and the sooner we embrace it, the sooner we can become creative technologists or better knowledge workers in whatever field we're in, right? It's at least for the foreseeable future, it's only going to make us better humans, is what
Yeah.
I see. So
Yep. Me too.
cool. All right, I'd like to wrap this up with my favorite question to my guests on the show. Baron, if you could tell us, if you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
Uh, I think it would be to inspire others. We talked about, being a leader that's lifting other people up and helping other people. I truly would like to develop that as my superpower, to be inspirational to others. Because it's just cool. Like when you can, and then, and maybe a combination of that is teaching reminding other people that they have the power to improve their lives. A lot of people they look around, they think it's, maybe even AI goes into that conversation in their head, like the world's a crappy place and negativity, and it's a spiraling downward. So inspiration, motivation, because we started our, just some of our opening conversations about personal development, how much personal development the motivational speakers, the inspirational speakers of the books that I've read, how much they've improved my life.
Yeah.
Man, and I have been doing that. I've been taking the energy that I've been able to harness myself, the positivity, the great things that have happened in my life, and then improving others. So I think I'm doing that. I just want to get better actually at it. Because it really makes you feel good, like to help other people. It's pretty daggone awesome. So that's what I want my superpower to be.
Yeah, it sounds like your superpower leads to you living your purpose out.
Yeah.
You're living a life of purpose, helping others, lifting them up, showing them that the glass is half full. So I think optimism is your superpower. I think that's great.
Yeah.
And it's a mindset that you're sharing here that does create real transformation. So yes, I love the energy. I feel like I definitely connect with your thinking.
Yeah. It really is. Positivity or negativity are contagious.
Yeah, man. Well, it's been a pleasure, Baron. Thank you so much for working with me on the episode today.
Yeah, it's been
I've learned a
great.
ton from you. I know that we have a lot to talk about in the future, so I'd love to stay connected. Thank you for your time. I know the audience will enjoy.
Thank you, Jason.
All right, take care.
All right, bye-bye.
And thanks to our listeners for tuning in today. If you or your company would like to be featured in an Inspire AI Richmond episode, please drop us a message. Don't forget to like, share, or follow our content and stay up to date on the latest events for AI Ready RVA. Thank you again, and see you next time.